Hello there. This presentation will look at the medicine wheel from indigenous cultures of North America. And we'll start off with, the history and how it started out in the beginning, and then look at the basic principles of the four quadrants and how this wheel is divided into four triangles. And then we will go through, as the wheel does, the different four cardinal directions: east, south, west, and north, and the different attributes that are associated with these four directions. And then we will look at integration and how this connects to modern medicine, and then we will get into the conclusion. So what we will see is within these four directions, there are four states of being, four sacred medicines, four seasons, four elements, and four stages of life. This will take us through the circle of life and a circle of self-awareness, as well as a circle of knowledge. The medicine wheel is circular in construction, reminiscent of our planet, a compass, the sacred hoop, dream catchers, the path of the sun around the moon, stages as we humans age, and the circular nature of life overall. It represents the sacred boundary of our planet. The circle is broken into four triangles or quadrants, all touching one another in the center. At its core, it represents the interconnectedness of each component of a human's life, and it teaches us holistic ways to move peacefully through the four different cycles of life: culture, nature, and community. The medicine wheel carries a framework for interconnectedness and the celebration of natural cycles. It can be applied to cultures, companies, and classrooms alike. There is no minimum age for understanding this knowledge, and its benefits can be applied to all walks of life. Prehistoric ancestors of tribes of the North American Great Plains first used the medicine wheel. Ancient representations of the symbol go back many centuries and have been found in the Ojibwe territory. It is a spoken language passed down by families and tribes, predating written language. These representations are of all different types, either stones on the ground, textiles, or paint. The Ojibwe, the Lakota Sioux, the Crow Indians, Cheyenne, and Arapaho tribes consider the medicine wheel to be a sacred and useful arrangement of knowledge. While ancient civilizations worldwide are documented with statues, rock formations, and drawings, the medicine wheel is really unique to North America. For instance, Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids don't use this circular graph-like arrangement. I think this is really important because it does really talk about the circle of life and the interconnectedness of everything here. The circular symbol is broken into four triangular quadrants. The sections are arranged according to the cardinal directions: north, south, east, and west. Within these directions, other elements and ideas are arranged, with the tastes, flavors, or themes of the directions at mind. The teachings encourage balance in all things and control of our emotional and spiritual states. It seeks happiness through this balance and leads us to life satisfaction. More balance equals more happiness is part of the view here, and it is part of the indigenous worldview overall. It teaches that we are all deeply connected to each other and to the Creator. The medicine wheel walks us through the stages of life, from birth to growth to maturity, and finally to death. The cycle applies to plants, humans, animals, and even the land itself. Colors and specific animals are symbolic of each station and speak to the balance of natural forces. Our own spiritual health also evolves through this pattern, and awareness and thriving give way to the final letting go of the north and of death itself. At right here, you can see an artist's depiction of the wheel. Everything flows in a circle, and life, according to these tribes, goes on forever, here on earth and then the spiritual world itself. Let's take a deeper dive into the first season in this presentation, and we'll start in the east. The season here is the spring, and the animal associated with the spring is the eagle. The color is yellow, the element is fire, and the time is dawn. The age we think of is infancy, and the cycle is birth itself. For some reason, there are different colored people associated with each of the directions in each of the seasons. And in the East, we think of yellow-skinned people. The power that we look at is that of the emotion and the mind. And the classification is mineral. The sacred plant is tobacco. I thought this picture that I took of these blue robin's eggs were really perfect for thinking about springtime and thinking about infancy too, just thinking about the very beginnings of life in the spring and the very beginnings of life as an egg overall. Moving around the wheel, we'll get to the south and to summertime. And the animal associated with this season is the wolf, and the color is red. The element is water, and the time of day is noon. The age that we look at is childhood, and the cycle is one of growth. The race associated with this is red-skinned people, and the power is spiritual, or that of the soul. The classification is plant, and the sacred plant associated here is cedar. So I thought that these beautiful flowers from the summertime were a great example of this energy. Moving around the wheel and around the calendar, we get to autumn and we get to the west. The animal in the west is the bear, and the color is black or green. The element is earth, dirt, soil, and the time of day is dusk. The age we look at is maturity, and the cycle is that of late adolescence or adulthood. The race here is black-skinned people, and the power is that of the physicality of the body itself. The classification is human, and the sacred plant is sage. Over to the right in this picture, we see all the gifts of autumn that came out of my own garden. Finally, we will finish in the north, in the winter, in the cold. And the animal here in winter is the buffalo. And the color is white. I think of the snow. And the element is air. I'm pretty sure it's cold air, at least around here. And the time of day is midnight, and the age is elderly. The part of the cycle is death, and the race is white-skinned people. The power is that of intellect and the mind, and the sacred plant is sweetgrass. In this slide, we'll look at integration and how these indigenous concepts can really work with modern medicine and modern life. So cultural preservation happens naturally when we can understand this iconic symbolism and respect the ancient indigenous people who developed it. Values and beliefs of these tribes are an important element of the medicine wheel. For non-indigenous people, the medicine wheel offers glimpses of a hidden world, one rooted in nature, balance, and harmony. These lessons are important for all humans, and can help us be more rounded and better connected to the natural world. Of course, the natural world is the basis for much indigenous thinking. To take these lessons and incorporate them into our busy modern lives is very beneficial, specifically when we think of lifestyle changes necessary for maintaining physical and emotional health. Treating each day like a trip around the wheel, we are encouraged to consume healthy foods, honor the weather and seasons, and maintain healthy sleeping habits. In conclusion, it really does come down to balance and harmony. The center of the wheel is the starting point for all things and the place where prayers and meditations begin. From the center, we see all colors in all directions, and we can appreciate all parts of our own journey through life. Nothing is separate. You can't have the summer months without the winter months, and you can't arrive at the end of your life without beginning as a baby. We are never far from these seemingly disparate concepts, and we are encouraged to see each of them as a part of the larger whole. In this final slide, I'm happy to share these great resources that I used to make this presentation. My favorite one of which is this book printed in 1980 called The Medicine Wheel, Earth Astrology. I just love thinking about it that way, as Earth Astrology. And then we see resources for public health, for theory, conceptual frameworks and analysis, and for an overview of what the medicine wheel really is. The peer-reviewed piece I used was about teaching the medicine wheel, and it really made me think of how these seemingly simple concepts are really a great tool to pass on knowledge. So thank you for joining me with this presentation.